What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome to episode 8 of Lyon Live here in Football Manager 2019. Hopefully you guys are good. Today, we start things with a big game. We're taking on PSG. It's second versus first. You can see the league table here. We sit top and pretty. If we could win today, it would be huge. So, well, that's going to be the aim, isn't it? Just a few little things before we get into that first game that I can talk about. First and foremost, thank you for your support on this series. Honestly, the response has been incredible. It was a bit of a risk when I started this series, doing something different to anything I'd really done before in terms of something 100% live. You guys seem to be loving it. Still refining the format just a little bit. But generally speaking, your reception has been incredible. We also, in the last couple of days, hit 75,000 subscribers on YouTube, which, again, thank you each and every one of you. I may have a video in the next week or two just as a little, bit more of an in-depth thank you. But if I don't say it anywhere else, yeah, thank you. It really has been appreciated. And the last little course of action, I guess, is just to say that yesterday I uploaded a new video to the channel. It was looking at Cristiano Ronaldo and how his attributes and his profile has changed in the last, 10 years of Football Manager. If you missed that for whatever reason, do go check it out. I will attempt to remember to link it in the description for you guys if you haven't seen that, because I think it is worth checking out, and the reception on it has been really, really positive. But yes, today we are continuing on with Lyon Live. We have PSG, as you can see, it's first versus second. Memphis still not match fit, and apparently isn't even going to be fit enough to play on the bench, which is a bit of a shame, but we kind of had already planned with that in mind. I do feel like our team as a whole is in a pretty good position right now. We look very, very good. It's a shame, of course, about the Fekir injury, which we got recently. He's still out for a week or two, or even 3. So we're lacking a little bit there, but the rest of the team looks pretty good. With Depay's current fitness situation, meaning that when it comes to his fitness test, he's not even recommended to be to be selected. I think we'll give Maxwell Cornet a spot on the bench to see what he can do for us. So, no messing around today. There's not been a great deal going on. We're going to get straight into this game. In terms of PSG's team, this is what they played previously. It's kind of a fairly standard shape. I'm a little bit scared of Neymar and Mbappe and Cavani. And I kind of want to try and set up a formation which I think can nullify them. And I think that system is this. It's going to be the 4-5-1. We will see how it gets on at containing them. Of course, we've used this system a little bit. One of the games we used it in was the game against Juventus, where we did get a sending off, which I think it would be fair to say scuppered our game plans. So really, this is our first chance to see what it can do. In terms of our team, Lopez in goal, Marcelo and Wallace, Marçal at left back, Lala at right back. I'm just wondering when Tete is going to be back. Of course, Tete is not suspended anymore, so Tete can come back into the team. It's a good job I checked my starting 11. I'm just wondering if there is anyone else here. I don't think there is. Of course, Mendy's out injured as well at left back. So it's going to be Marçal we're relying on there. I guess the only big decision really is Dembele or Martinez up front. Dembele has been improving a lot in training, but has been a little bit lacking on the form front. You can see the direct comparison between the two players here. Both fairly similar when it comes to their aerial ability and pace. Moussa Dembele just a little bit better with the physicals and also his attacking prowess. Not quite so good as a playmaker or with his technicals. But this is a game where we're going to be hitting them on the break a lot. And I feel like technically, kind of considering that's not something that's as concerning. So as a result, we'll play Dembele to start today's game and see how we get on. It will be interesting to see if PSG do play that kind of 4-3-3 with the little triangle of centre midfielders. And indeed they are, which is good news for us. Interestingly enough, Marquinhos going to be the defensive midfielder there. The rest of their team kind of looks how you'd expect, with the exception of Buffon. He has actually broken his arm, so he's out at the moment. I'm hoping we can put in a brave battle here. Of course, this is not the only game of today's episode. I believe we've got Dortmund to play, so lots of big matches coming your way. We do also have an international break following this game. It's about a 2-week break period. I'm just going to cut that bit out and kind of leave you and come back. I was kind of, reading the comments and stuff. You guys are really enjoying the series, enjoying the live components of it. Lots of people saying around the hour mark is about right for them, but I do feel like in episodes where I could potentially spend just 10 minutes mashing continue for an international break, it's probably best just to cut that stuff out as we have a chance. Terrier! Oh my god, what a goal that could have been on the volley. Could still come to someone. It isn't, unfortunately. They hack it clear, but the first clear-cut chance of the game going our way. But yes, we have an international break coming up. I'm going to just cut that little bit out. If you want to see me do that, let me know in the comments. If you don't want me to do that, let me know in the comments. As Marquinhos has an effort on the rebound, can we discuss not Areola's? That's their goalkeeper. Can we discuss our keeper saves there? That was absolutely nutty by Lopez in goal to save the initial free kick and the rebound. Really, really good opportunity. PSG are going to be disappointed not to get a goal there. I mean, in truth, this year, I'd love to go toe-to-toe with PSG, but I think when you compare the squads on paper, they've got the edge on us. And really, if we could get a draw away from home against them, that would be reasonably good, as far as I'm concerned. We're looking pretty good defensively. They have tested us a little bit, but Lopez has been good. Hopefully in the second half we can maintain this performance we've put in. They've had a few chances, but not a great deal really compared to us. Not a superior amount. You can see we've had a half chance, and actually we've got a set piece here. Of course, we changed our corner routine. You might remember we were doing that at the end of last episode. We were having a few offside goals kind of disallowed from corners, so we were mixing things up there. Will be interesting to see how that might work out for us as the next few matches come along. Anyway, we have got to be wary. They've got Cavani, Mbappe and Neymar up front. I feel like for Kenny Lala and Marcel, oh my gosh. Lopez, what are you doing? I was about to talk about how threatening their attack is, but we've just been our own greatest threat. Lopez in goal, playing as a sweeper keeper. I mean, what are you doing? We've had a bit of the rub of the green when it comes to the match engine being kind. It's definitely not been kind to us there. Lopez, I mean, can you describe that as a rush of blood to the head? I guess you have to, really. PSG take the lead in this game, and well, the masters of our own downfall. We've got to try and bounce back, and maybe we can do so here. And Ndombele to Terrier. Oh my god, who is this boy? What is he made of? What has he had for breakfast? Ndombele lays it off to him, and I'm thinking, well, it's going to go flying over the crossbar. No. I mean, Terrier could have his own montage at this point in the series already. Kazawa with the initial throw-in, it's kind of half cleared. Ndombele lays it off, and I'm thinking, well, he's going to bring it forward here. No, first time, I mean, what do you say? What do you say other than Zoutalor? I don't actually know what that means. I think it means like, oh my gosh in French. Please tell me if that's what it means. It might mean something really offensive in French. If it does, désolé. I think that's sorry in French. I've managed to refrain for 8 episodes not to speak a word of French. I've now shown myself up, I fear. Anyway, let's focus back on the game. We have a match on our hands here. On the hour mark, it is 1-1, and it's been an even game. They've caused us problems with the press. We're now going to try and do the same to them, although they do work out of it. And now Kurzawa bringing the ball forward inside to Cavani. Cuts inside, lovely touch, wide of the post. I'm going to kid myself and say that Lopez had it covered. I'm going to demand more from our players. I think we might make some subs. Dembele's been poor in this game. Let's bring in Martinez. Toussaint, he's not had a classic game. Marcel on a booking is a teeny bit concerning. I'm going to take him off for Denea. I don't really fancy having a left back on a booking marking Mbappe, even if Mbappe is having a quieter game. So we'll go with a double change there. Denea can slot in at left back. And we're also going to bring in Martinez, who we've brought in to get goals. This is the kind of game where I want to see Joseph Martinez step up and show us what he's made of. And well, we're going to try and press high here. PSG attempting to build from the back. Kazawa now with it. Now with Verratti. Rabiot now to Marquinhos. We're trying to eliminate the pass getting through. You can see we've got so many men in the midfield, but they are picking out passes, our PSG. I thought that was a great tackle. It might still open up here, though. PSG down this right-hand side. The cross is blocked, but it's still very much us on the back foot here. Kazawa crosses it in, edge of the box, Mbappe to Neymar. And, I mean, it's those two players on either wing causing us all kinds of hurt and problems. They take the lead again in this game, PSG. They work the ball there well there. They work the space well. stretched us wide. You can see we had so many men in the midfield to congest things up, but they just kind of work themselves free and we don't pick them up. And ultimately some fine attacking movement by PSG and a quick switch of play back and forth is what has undone us here. We have 13 minutes left in this game. I think with that in mind, we have to go on the front foot. We have to try and do what we do best, which is score goals. And, well, that is exactly what we're going to try and do here. Traore, who's been in great form, has done okay today. He's not been standout. Aouar has been a bit questionable. I don't really have a player to bring in for him. Of course, we are missing Depay and Fekir and and our left-back, Mendy. So we're missing 3 first-team players. So I feel like we're doing okay, to be honest. I'm going to make our last change. I'm going to bring in Papa Cech for Ndombele just to get some fresh legs into that box-to-box midfielder role. But yeah, we're going to go to our standard 4-2-3-1, a bit aggressive, try and play on the front foot, try and play positively, see if we can get a late goal. It's looking kind of unlikely at this point as the time just trickles away. But considering how good PSG are and the key players we're missing and the fact we're away from home, and just one more and to throw out there, the fact that Lopez has just self-destructed, this has been a somewhat pleasing performance. I know it was a world beater kind of strike by Terrier that's kept us in this game, really. But, I mean, PSG, yes, they've probably outclassed us, but we've gone toe-to-toe, and maybe there's still a late chance here. I want to believe. Traore, have a go! I thought it was going to happen, I'll be honest. I truly thought it was going to happen, that Traore was going to have one last effort. Unfortunately, wasn't to be. I mean, end of the game, we're only 1 point behind PSG in the league. They probably did deserve it on the night. They created some of the better opportunities. I do feel like the 4-5-1 there did okay, to be honest. Obviously, the first goal I don't think can be faulted with that. The second goal, maybe we could have done a little bit better. But 2-1 is not a shameful result, as much as I'm sure some of you guys are going to leave me in the comments and tell me how I could have won it. The reality is we're coming up against players like Neymar, Mbappe, and we're missing some of our own key players. Like, these are some of the best players in world football. And when you consider that, you know, we've got Fekir, one of our star players who's out injured, Depay's obviously been out all season so far, the fact that after 9 games, including playing PSG, we sit 1 point behind them is nothing to be ashamed of as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, as I said, we've got a 2-week break here, so I'm going to leave and come back for it. We've got Nîmes and Dortmund coming up. We may even try and squeeze in the game against Angers. We will see how we get on. Guys, don't go anywhere. I will be back in 2 weeks' time. And Nîmes, bottom of the league, you're going down. Okay, folks, so we are back. It is game day here, and well, it's been a pretty eventful international break, but not really for the reasons that I would like it to be. We have had yet more injuries, and they're kind of getting a little bit frustrating at this point, and I feel like we've been pretty unfortunate. You can see just in this last international break, Mbia has gone off. He's got a tight calf, which I guess is a minor injury. Bertrand Traore, a tight thigh, again a minor injury, but Denea out for 2 to 4 weeks now, just really not ideal. It's been pretty crazy, actually, just how many injuries we've had. If I'm not mistaken, we can probably check this here. I think we are leading the league in the injury tables. Now, it's not really the stat you want to be leading things in, but yeah, you can see here 5 injuries to first-team players. Across the whole team, though, we've just had pretty atrocious luck when it comes to injuries. You can see here when Bertrand Traore picked up his tight thigh, just the sheer quantity of injuries we've had has been pretty crazy. Of course, we have now got Depay coming back to full fitness and Fekir. I don't really want to rush them into the team. I don't always do this, but I do sometimes do it with longer term injuries. I'm making, you can see here, Depay available until match fit for 45 minutes at a time. I just need him to get a little bit of first team football. To be honest, when it comes to building up players' match sharpness, more often than not, I'll just do it through substitute appearances, and that's probably something that we are actually going to look to do here. So expect Memphis to maybe make an appearance for us. Someone suggested something in the YouTube comment section, which actually I thought was a really good idea, which is a rarity. No, I kid. But when someone suggested this, I was like, you know what? That isn't the worst idea in the world. And the suggestion was that if we still have issues with Dembele and Martinez scoring, which at the moment is slightly problematic, perhaps we could play Terrier as a striker. Like, he can naturally play as a striker and he has the attributes to do it. it may well be something that we have to look into doing. I want to persevere with Dembele and Joseph Martinez for a little while longer, because whilst they're not getting the goals for us, I do feel like they are contributing still a decent amount in our play. You know, if we were losing and drawing more games, perhaps I'd be a little bit more willing and, I guess, wanting to change things up. But as things stand, I'm kind of happy with how things are going to this point where I don't really want to panic and make some unnecessary changes. We've already talked to Dembele about his poor form. Martinez's form really hasn't been too great either, so let's give him a little warning over his recent form. Hopefully he can improve. He agrees, which is good. Also, his training performances are not that great, are they? In terms of fitness news, you can see here Traore out on the right-hand side is a little tired coming into today's game. I guess that's international duty, which I kind of forgot to update things following. We could bring Cornet in to play on that side, although his average ratings haven't been the best. To be honest, 90% condition I think is kind of workable. It's very much borderline, but I'm going to, I think, take a chance on it, and hopefully it's not going to be too problematic. So we've got this game against Nîmes. They're down in 18th, and then we've got Dortmund in 2nd in the Champions League group, which is a very tight group at this moment in time. So with that in mind, I might even want to just look at rotating some players for this league game against Nîmes to see what we can do. I expect us to beat them fairly comfortably, I've got to be honest. So I'm just wondering if there's stuff we could do. I guess we could take out Tete and start Lala at right back. Maybe bring in Papa Cech for Ndombele just to keep some fresh legs in the midfield. Saint-Maximin, to be honest, could probably play in favour of Bertrand Traore. Play out that right-hand side, is going to be cutting in as an inside forward onto his weaker foot. It's not ideal, of course. We are trying to develop his weaker foot, his left foot, so he can play on this right-hand side without too much of an impact. I feel like the rest of the team is okay. I feel like, generally speaking, I talked about this last episode, but actually rotating the team and such, I think we've done a pretty good job with all in all. So this is what we're going to do. Due to the injury to Denea and also just the injuries in some of the fullback areas, Jeremy Morel is going to play for us on the bench. He actually got his first ever international cap for Madagascar and his first goal recently. So congratulations to him. I'm hoping that he's not a player we're going to become too familiar with, because if we do become familiar with him, it means we've had a few injuries at centre-back and got a little bit desperate. I don't mind him. I just feel like we shouldn't be relying on him too much as a first-team player. Anyway, our team's still very strong despite a little bit of rotation. Looking at it here, they're playing with their kind of deeper midfield. It's a system we've come against a few times before. With that in mind, what I think we will do is push our wing-backs higher up the pitch onto the attack duty. I feel like one thing that we've done a reasonable job so far of during this series, and I am consciously making a bit more of an effort, is to adapt our team on a team-by-team basis. It's kind of nice. Usually when my Football Manager saves, I feel like a bit of a need to rush between episodes, to play, the periods of time between each episode. But with this being 100% live, with you seeing every game, and with me playing, only 3 or 4 matches a day, really, and so I record a few episodes in a single day, I can kind of just sit zen out and just think about everything a little bit more. There's a bit more time to construct things in my head, think about different options. I'm less rushing and more enjoying taking my time, and also enjoying Terrier just scoring from outside the box. It's his 7th of the season, folks. He scored a banger against PSG, which unfortunately in the grand scheme of things didn't mean a great deal. Maybe the goal today can mean a great deal. Toussaint plays it inside. We do actually go top of the league with this goal as things stand. I guess that's because PSG are yet to take the lead in their current game. But hey, that's the start we wanted. Thrown at the edge of the box, kind of comes across, and Terrier scores again. It's his 7th of the season. He is laughing. And I mean, so are we, although set piece to deal with here. This has been a bit of a problem for us, although maybe it's going to be a problem for Nîmes because they've given us the ball here. It's a 3v2 on the breakaway. Aouar, all on his own, goes down. That has to be a penalty. Surely VAR. I'm doing the hand gesturing of VAR. You can't see it, but I am, mimicking it. Man, I look good in my green suit. Right, what is the referee going to see here? I mean, it looked like a Stonewall pen in 3D, didn't it? This is a bit where Aouar gets booked for diving or something. What is the referee going to give? Is it going to be the penalty? It is going to be the penalty. And it's going to be Dembele to take it. He missed one penalty previously. A chance for redemption here. A chance to get a goal to hopefully build some confidence off. He steps up. Can he score it? I mean, it wasn't that convincing. The keeper went the right way. It was down to the keeper's right. But it was hit with just about enough power to beat him. And with that, we go 2 goals up in this game. And hopefully now we can just cruise, you know. We've rotated the team a little bit. We can relax into this match perhaps a smidge. If we could get a third before half-time, it would be great. Again, it's our wing-backs getting involved in the play high up the pitch. Toussaint, what a ball into the box. Saint-Maximin. Not known for his heading, but heads wide there. You can see PSG have just taken the lead in their game, so we are going to drop behind them. Monaco must be drawing as things stand. They are. You can see here Strasbourg just scored in the 46th minute of that first half. But, well, we can't focus too much on what's going on elsewhere. I'm going to tell the players I'm far from happy. I want them to stay switched on, but the truth is I'm delighted. Nim have done nothing. No shots. None on target. None off target. I mean, it'd be an achievement if they had a shot on or off target considering they had no shots. But no, we've really shut them down in this game so far. I'm hoping now in this second half we can get a few more goals just to make it comfortable. Maybe get Dembele 1 or 2 more. Anyway, they're on the attack here. They dink it in. Kone heads it. I'm going to claim that Lopez had it covered. It's their first effort of the game. It has not gone far over. A bit of a warning shot perhaps in our direction that whilst we are 2 goals, whilst we have looked good, we can't afford to take anything for granted. I'm going to bring in Jordan Ferry for Toussaint. Of course, Ferry, someone who's complained a little bit about lack of first-team football, has kind of wanted to force a move away from the club. Ideally, I'd like to keep hold of him, but I realise that might not be possible. We'll also take off Saint-Maximin for Bertrand Traoré, just to get some further fresh legs in the midfield. With 20 minutes left here, whilst they did have that one highlight early on in this half, it does feel like Nim really haven't got a great deal going forward. Unfortunately, I did see PSG have just got another goal to make it 2-0 in their game, so it doesn't really matter what happens here. We are going to stay second, but now a sending off for them. Maybe I should just go attacking just for the last 8 minutes. Maybe we can push and get one more. We'll bring, you know what, we'll bring in Depay. Give him a bit of a debut. We'll play him at centre attacking mid. 8 minutes to get some match fitness, son. Have some fun out there. Don't stress yourself out too much and push yourself too hard. There's just a bit of an opportunity for you to clock a few minutes, welcome you back to the team. First time he's played under us after that unfortunate torn hamstring. If he could score, I mean, it would be pretty delightful, wouldn't it? 3 minutes of added time here. We're right on the verge of it now as we enter it. A third goal would be nice, wouldn't it? Traoré, options on ahead. Plays it out wide to Marçal. Goes back to Ferry. And you can see the Lala playing that attacking duty. Loads of space for him to get into. Dinks the ball in. Dembele's there. I mean, he's got to hit the target. Heads it over. I don't know if Martinez would have done much better, but it was an opportunity squandered. And in some ways, it almost feels a tad underwhelming for this to finish 2-0. It's been a consistent scoreline this year, 2-0. I feel like that is perhaps the 4th or 5th time we've got it so far. It's our favourite scoreline, what can I say? Monaco drew against Strasbourg, so that's a big 2-point drop for them. I've never really talked about this year's goals. You know, I'd love to rival PSG. I'd love to push them down to the wire. I don't necessarily think that that's realistic in our first season. We're going to give it our best go, and given how the league has started, I guess you'd have to say that we should be trying to do that. But I think, realistically speaking, if we could secure a comfortable second place finish, go on a good little run in Europe as well, perhaps build up a bit of a reputation that we can, well, benefit from, and bring in some more kind of strong players into the first team and develop our youth, I feel like that would be a successful season. I realise what I've done there is pretty much list everything but winning the league and said if we do it, it would be successful. I just feel like realistically here, to beat PSG first season, it's not impossible. It's not. But we would need to ride our luck for a lot of the year. Whereas with our young side, if we can avoid injuries to our key young prospects, if we can develop them, if we can get a good finish in the league, and then hopefully reinvest smartly, that would be ideal. Obviously, Lyon in real life are a bit of a selling club. I hate that phrase, but they are. They've had players like Lacazette in the past. Mariano sold back to Real Madrid not that long ago, just last summer. The reality is that Lyon traditionally don't hold on to their players, whereas really what I'd like to do here is not necessarily sign a whole load of players, but keep hold of as many of our key players as we can. Of course, heaven forbid, say a £100 million bid was to come in for one of our players like Fekir or Depay, the sad reality is I probably would have to sell them with a mindset of, I think I can get in some replacements and really strengthen the whole team with that money. But is that realistic in a £100 million bid? Probably not. I feel like we'll cross that bridge when we get there. And well, we've got a big bridge to cross right now. It's going to be Dortmund, who are second in the group. Just as a reminder, after 2 Champions League group stage games, everyone has won one and lost one. It's been a bit of a weird start to the group stage, but it does put us in a situation where this game is very critical. Considering it's only the 3rd game of the group stage, there is a lot riding on it. At the same time, if you lose, it's not the end of the world, but this really is a chance for us to seize the initiative here. In terms of my game plan, we're at home for this game, right? Fekir can play 75 minutes as well if he needs to, but we're at home for this game. So as far as I'm concerned, we should play positive football and play on the front foot. I mean, the good news is that Fekir's match sharpness hasn't dropped off that much. It's just his condition, which is a little bit short. So we might even be able to start him today against Dortmund. We'll have Memphis on the bench who is just lacking a little bit of that match sharpness. I just wonder if there's anyone else we want to get into the team here. I don't think there is. I feel like we're slowly but surely now getting back to full strength. Dembele didn't wow me last game, so I think we'll bring in Joseph Martinez. And then, of course, we can bring in Tete at right back. Marcel at left back has been a bit of a surprise package. Didn't really know what to expect from him. Obviously, with Mendy getting that long-term injury and now still being out for up to 2 months, we needed a replacement to step up. It'd be fair to say that Marcel has done that and more. And of course, he is benefited by the fact that Marcelo and Wallace next to him are also Brazilian. So they've kind of got this understanding. I mean, at right back, Tete's done well. He's got a 7.22 average rating. Did get sent off, you might remember, against Juventus. But Kenny Lala's equally stepped up in league games. He's played 5 of them and a Champions League game. And his average ratings are actually superb for a player we brought in really for relatively cheap, just to be a backup. Am I happy with this team? I think I am. We're going to start Fekir. Traore will come back into the team. We rested him last game because he had been on international duty and was looking a little worse for wear. Hopefully Martinez can put in a good performance at striker. I'm a little bit wary of Dortmund here, but at the same time, I feel like at home we want to try and play positive. You know, I could try and crowd out their midfield, but truth be told, I feel like Dortmund's team isn't that much significantly better than ours compared to Juventus's. Yes, I know they did beat Juventus not that long ago, but I think at home at the very least we should be trying to, you know, play our positive brand of football, seize the initiative, play on the front foot. We have some good passes of the ball. We have real attacking talent and pace. Hopefully we can get in at Dortmund's side. They're playing a 4-3-3. It's similar to the system that we've come up against a few times this year, including against PSG. If they do start winning that battle in the midfield with kind of the defensive midfielder and 2 centre mids, maybe then we'll change things up. Maybe then we'll switch to the 4-5-1. But to start this game, I want to see what we can do as Fekir, back from injury, hits the free kick. What a save that was by the keeper. That was insane. First real chance of the game. Fekir, back from injury, showing us what we've been missing. His lethality from set pieces cannot be understated. They've got a chance here. Alcacer cleared away only as far as Witsel. Now with Weigl, who switches it out wide to Schmelzer. Now with Marco Reus. Nicely dealt with. Can we build from the back here now? Wallace to Lopez. I'm getting a flashback to Lopez's screw up against PSG. A little bit wary of that, but we're on the break here. Martinez. Fekir was making a surging run ahead. Instead, it's going to be Tete, the right back, on the overlap. Terrier back post, nods it. Ndombele, have a go. Hits the woodwork. Rebound is not going to fall kind for us, but the goal is still shaking. The frame of it reverberating from that effort. And now a set piece. Fekir, back post. Wallace is there, heads it. It's gone through the roof of the net and ended up in the back of the net. And for a second, I thought we'd scored. But no, a good chance. Another set piece here. Fekir, this time pulls it to the edge of the box. Toussaint. I mean, we've gone a long way back here. I'm hoping that our players have a plan that I don't know about. Terrier nods it. Martinez hits the woodwork. He was offside, I think. It wouldn't have counted, but we did hit the woodwork again there. I don't think that one counted as hitting the woodwork because play was kind of dead due to the offside, but we've hit the woodwork a few times. They've got a set piece here. Reus whips it back post, headed, and I mean, Witsel fouled. Traore's holding his head, bless him. The keeper looked like he might have been fouled. The goal is disallowed. Royce is injured. I mean, water is still wet, folks, as Royce gets injured. If you don't, that's an expression because it's basically saying that some things are just a fact in life. And Royce getting injured is one of those certainties along with death and taxes. Another one is hitting the woodwork, apparently, for us. Maybe, with 3 minutes left of this half, we can break the deadlock, though. Big ball switch to Terrier. Is that going to be a penalty? It is, and it's going to be Fekir back from that long-term injury. He's been good from penalties so far this year. 3 from 3. Can he make it 4 from 4? He steps up, he hits it. Of course he can. Welcome back, my friend. We have missed you. His 6th goal of the season, and I feel like we probably deserve it, to be honest. Whilst, you know, the shots has been fairly even possession, neither team's really bossed it. I feel like given how many times we've hit the woodwork, we have created a lot of opportunities. We probably do deserve to be a goal ahead. Perhaps fortunate that it has come from the penalty spot. Fekir, despite his goals, not been great. Martinez up top hasn't been that great either. I'm going to tell the players I'm not happy with their performance. I don't want to praise them. I don't want them to get complacent. I want them to know that I expect an even better performance in the second half. And well, if Terrier could score immediately, that would be useful, wouldn't it? Unfortunately, Dortmund do put in a tackle there and it goes back to their keeper. But, I mean, I'm okay with how things are going. Delaney, never going in. At least on this patch. It feels like free kicks have gone from always going in to rarely going in. Terrier's on a booking. Wallace is on a booking. Toussaint's on a booking. I'm going to bring in Papa Cech for Toussaint. Papa Cech, by the way, a player who I really like the look of. I couldn't tell you why I like the look of him. He just looks like a really well-rounded centre mid, and he's only 21. He's a young 21-year-old as well. He's someone who I think could definitely play a role in the team going forward. Martinez has been atrocious up front. I'm going to bring in Dembele for him. I did contemplate playing Depay as a striker, but actually I think I want to bring Depay on for Fekir at about the 75th minute. Fekir, of course, coming back from his injury. We don't want to aggravate it further. And I feel like this could be a good chance to get Depay a bit more match fitness. Juventus, by the way, 4-1 up. You might have caught it against Club Bruges in the other game in our group. So a win here would put us in a really good spot, to be honest. It's what we want to be striving towards. Depay coming on for Fekir. 5 minutes left of this game. We've had the better of the attacking play, but it is Mario Götze getting in behind here. And it's, of course, the 1-goal margin. It's a dangerous lead. Whipped in. Wallace heads it to Delaney. That was not far away. Terrier would have scored it. Heart-in-mouth moment there. 2.5 minutes. I know someone's going to probably be wondering, Jack, why would you not go more defensive at this point? I mean, we're playing positive rather than attacking. We're looking to control the play. But the reality is we've been very good on the front foot here. I just feel like we invite pressure on ourselves going backwards and playing defensively. Pulisic has an effort. Can we hit them on the break? Now, that's the question. A goal here would wrap things up. Terrier. What a run to Dembele. Options in the middle, queuing up. Whipped in. Memphis is there. Welcome to the first team, my friend. It's his first goal of the season. Dembele with a much-deserved assist. Hopefully that can help him build a bit of confidence. 2-0 here. And, well, it's great to see Depay back from that long-term injury that has kept him out. Turning up trumps. Could the keeper have done better? Perhaps. The ball kind of put into that corridor of uncertainty, an area where the keeper doesn't know whether to come out for the cross or leave it for the defence. And ultimately, we've punished them for that lack of communication. And that's going to be all she wrote, I think, unless we were about to score one more. No. 2-0 here against Dortmund. That is a very, very important result. Wallace, man of the match. Right now, he's looking like a fantastic bit of business, is Wallace. Was the big transfer that we made, of course, in the summer at £17 million. Not a small fee by any means, but he's been very, very good. And you can see if we just look here at the group, we sit alongside Juventus on 6 points now. Bruges and Dortmund not that far behind, in truth, on 3 points each. Our next Champions League game will be next episode. It will be against Dortmund. That's going to be a big one. Right, I think we will do the game against Angers today. They are in 10th. We do need to rest our players going into that game. Try and get them as match fit as possible. But, well, it's going to be really nice to have Fekir and hopefully Depay back and hopefully staying fit now as well. They are, without a doubt, in my opinion, our two best players, at least right now. I feel like we maybe have players who have the potential to surpass them. But in terms of our kind of current matchday squad, they are two players who I feel like we can really turn towards and expect great things from. It does leave me with a bit of a dilemma in terms of what to do with Terrier, because he has played that left inside forward role, cutting in on his right foot. Depay is now coming back and probably going to be wanting to fight for that position. Just looking at Wallace here, you can see a 7.62 average rating in 13 appearances in both the Champions League and Ligue 1. He has really been top notch. He hasn't scored a great deal from our back post corners, but he's always in and around there and he's done well. You can see as well here, in terms of training, people doing pretty well. Dubois, better training performances, please. I'm not going to praise Aouar because I'm a bit worried about annoying him because I keep praising him. Terrier, though, I think you can be praised for your training. You've been very, very good. There's that kind of fine line, I'm sure you guys have experienced it, where you have a player who is consistently training well, and for like the 4th or 5th time in a row you tell them you're pleased with their training and they just get a bit arsey about it. It's my perpetual fear, overpraising players. So we're going to avoid it with a player like Aouar, who I think he knows deep down inside he's improving as a player. He's getting plenty of first team football under us and he is definitely benefiting from it. Anyway, we've got this game away from home against Angers. They're in 10th, so I feel like we should play it on the front foot and play attacking football. It's kind of weird, you know, there's players like Gnabry who have kind of just been forgotten about, and McTominay, certainly considering come January terminating both of their loans. McTominay I thought would be kind of this really good backup player to Toussaint, but I've become a fan of Papa Cech, and additionally Maxi here has been improving a lot, and I wouldn't mind giving him a little bit of first team opportunities should the right opportunity arise, because he looks like a very good, you know, centre midfielder for the future. Maybe not a ball winner, although he is very solid defensively, but he just looks very, very well rounded to a point where if I was to start playing McTominay, this is probably the guy who would miss out, and I'd rather give him the football over McTominay. In terms of our team coming into this game, we've rested up players and it has helped the condition a little bit, but I might still rotate the team a little. Who have we got in our next league game? We've got Bordeaux. They're in 6th. That's going to be a tricky game next time out. With that in mind, I'm just wondering if I want to avoid some of these players getting bookings. It's kind of inevitable that some of them are going to get booked, but for example, we could play Lala instead of Tete to make sure that Tete is available for selection against Bordeaux. Fekir is also one booking away, as is Marcel at left back. I could play Morel at left back for today's game, but it feels like a bit of an unnecessary risk. That said, if Marcel was to get a booking, then Morel would be the man to step up potentially and play there, which is a little bit concerning with Mendy out injured. I think for Fekir, fitness test 75 minutes, given the fact he's only a booking away from a suspension, I feel like we'll take him out and play Aouar. Depay is still building up some match fitness. I would like to bring him off the bench, probably at half time. But no, we're going to start Aouar here. He's improved a lot. He looks very, very good. And after this game, we are going to have a nice week's break as well. So fitness isn't too much of a concern. It feels like lately there's just been match after match after match. You know, we've played this could be the 3rd game in a week. So it would be good after this game to get this break. And, well, hopefully we can get a result here. They've got Rainy Adelaide and Patrice Evra. So they've got some good players, Angers, here. We can't afford to underestimate them. But, well, let's see what we can do. We're in great form in the league. I know we slipped up against PSG to start today's episode, but I feel like when you look beyond that, we've been very, very impressive this year. As much as, you know, you expect us to finish top 3, I feel like if you told me, you know, Jack, after this many games, you're going to have lost 1 game and conceded 3 goals all year, would you have taken it? I would have bitten your hand off, is the truth. I feel like we have done really, really well. And I'm hoping that we can keep that going here. Might be a little bit tricky away from home. They're playing a 4-4-2. I'm kind of hoping that our 4-2-3-1 is kind of going to, you know, plug the gaps between their team. They're choosing to operate without that defensive midfielder. And with them playing 2 centre mids and us playing with a centre attacking mid and a centre mid, I'm kind of hoping we can punish them in the middle. Maybe that's what we're going to do here as Bertrand Traoré brings it forward, pulls it across, and Aouar is there. I mean, right on cue, punishing them down the middle. that lack of a defensive midfielder does mean that Aouar should get some space. It's the second goal of the season for him. A little bit of a tap-in. Bertrand Traoré, lovely little assist, might I add. And Ndombele with the secondary assist. I really wish the secondary assist was a thing that was tracked in Football Manager and just in football in real life. If you don't know, in ice hockey, it's kind of a statistic that does hold some weight. It's the pass that leads to the assist, essentially. It's a good way of, judging players who are involved in play. But it's not really a thing in football, which is a shame because I do feel like it would shed a new light on certain players who, especially those who operate a little deeper perhaps, who often unlock the defence with a big ball, forward from deeper in midfield. But then, perhaps there's another pass at the end of the move to secure the finish, so they don't ever really get any credit for their contribution to the goal. Anyway, whilst I've rambled on about secondary assists, it's gone all the way to half-time, and it's only 1-0. So again, I'm going to tell the players I'm not happy. We are going to bring in Depay at half-time. I was thinking about bringing him on for Terrier. But actually, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to play Memphis Depay at inside forward on the left and then try Terrier as an advanced forward. We talked about doing that a little earlier, just as an option that we could maybe explore. He has been scoring some good goals. Dembele and Joseph Martinez not playing that great. It's kind of killing two birds with one stone doing that sub as well. Bringing on Depay. We can also try Terrier out in the striker position and see what he can do. And while he might get a chance here, he's through. And he's hit the woodwork. He's tried to dink the keeper. In fact, he didn't even hit the woodwork. It hit the roof of the net. I mean, it was a confident attempt by Terrier, the little dink. Unfortunately, they've denied us. Although that could have... I thought for a second they were about to have a man sent off. It's going to be Sis down this left-hand side for them. Ball in. Lopez straight down his throat. Clutches onto it. And well, hopefully we can just go up the other end and score. Let's see if we can get a nice passing move. Count the passes. That's 4 so far. 5, 6. This is just going to end in them scoring, isn't it? Tackle, but it goes to Memphis. We'll count that as a pass. That's 8. Aouar now, bringing the ball forward. Their midfield is sitting very, very deep, and they're relying on their man with a booking, whose name I'm not going to try and say, to make a lot of tackles. Christian here, up top for them, hits it. Did this guy used to play for Lens? I feel like he did. I need to check. He did used to play for Lens. Moved for a free transfer in real life. He got 10 goals last year. He's got 4 this year, to be fair to him. Good little player. As we have just found out, Angers with a goal, which fair play to them. They've been at the races in this game. In a lot of games, we've kind of had teams in chokeholds. We've not let them, play football. We've dominated possession and pinned them in their own half, but they found a way out there. They found an outball and they've punished us for it. I'm not going to panic and change too many things just yet because we have been the better team. But, get to the hour mark, get to 65 minutes. That's when we might look to change a thing or two. I can see this guy, Mancio, getting sent off. He's been sliding in a lot and putting in a lot of last-ditch tackles for them, and even just in the highlights we've seen. I mean, we'll see what comes of it. Bertrand Traoré here, cutting inside to Ndombele, who brings the ball forward. Loads of space. Can he finish it? He can't. Botele clears it and parries it wide. It was a really good run by Ndombele, might I add. The finish wasn't too bad or an attempt either. Wallace, back post header. Not the best direction on that, it would be fair to say. We are coming up to the hour mark. We are coming up to the panic point. I'm going to change the mentality to attacking. Depay's not had the best game since he's come on. Terrier's done okay, but not been standout. Let's bring in... You know what? We're going to bring in Fekir. And I think we're going to play him as an advanced forward in this system. We're going to see what he can do for us as a striker. Which, again, something that we've not really tried out, but it's worth exploring as an option. Wallace, again, has picked up a booking. I don't think he'd be suspended for the game against Bordeaux with that yellow card. 15 minutes left. I'm just thinking about how I might want to change things here. And I think actually, I don't mind us working the ball into the box, but I do want us to be a little more direct with our play, I think. Really try. And just get the ball forward a little quicker. I don't mind us, taking shorter kicks, but I don't want to be playing it out of the defence all the time and distributing it to our centre-backs. We just need to be a little more keen, I guess, to get the ball into the final third and hurt them. We've got one sub left. I'm going to bring in Saint-Maximin and I'm going to bring him in for Bertrand Traoré. which might seem like a weird change, but Saint-Maximin, we paid £10 million for him. This is the kind of game where he can, well, recoup his costs potentially, or he can just do nothing, which is exactly what's going to happen here. I mean, this is the kind of result I was really pleased that we had been avoiding. You know, these draws against teams who, they're good, but we are better than them. And unfortunately for us, Angers have held firm in a game that we were the better team in. And they do deny us. I'm not sure. I think PSG might not have played today. I think. I mean, we'll check just here. PSG. No, okay, they lost to Marseille. That kind of now feels like an opportunity lost. And an opportunity missed out on to pull away from them a little bit. I mean, at the moment, it's very much looking like a three-horse race, but it's a race that we just have our nose ahead of in by a hair. You can see Ndombele out for 4 to 5 days. Fortunately, we have got a week's break until that Bordeaux match. So a bit of recovery time. But yeah, you can see here, Bordeaux in 4th. That game against Dortmund's going to be huge as well. A win there could, I think, secure us potentially even a slot in the Champions League knockout stages. And then we've got Guingamp and also Saint-Etienne, our rivals, coming up on the horizon. And Juventus. November's a big month for us. Looking slightly further ahead, you can see here. I guess the big game in this month is going to be Monaco. But Toulouse and a few other reasonably big names there. But no, it seems like this next month of football could be kind of big. Especially for our Champions League campaign. We're going to have to be at our very best. But at least now, we sit pretty at the top of the league, and you really can't argue with that. We're looking okay. You know, it's not been a perfect episode by any means, but defensively we look reasonably strong. We've not been annihilated in any of our games, and things are just ticking over nicely. Not too many complaints to be had. Anyway, guys, that's going to wrap up everything from me today. Hopefully you enjoyed. We managed to get 4 matches in an episode. That is a new record. I'm not sure if we'll be able to do that each and every single time, but hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, as always, with this episode, do drop a like on it. If you are enjoying the series as well, recommend it to some friends who watch Football Manager or just play Football Manager. I realise Football Manager, when you explain, oh, I watch Football Manager YouTube videos, it's kind of niche, and 50% of people turn up their nose at the idea of hearing someone else speak over spreadsheets, but I do hope you guys are enjoying this series. I've really been enjoying it. I feel like a lot of people have been commenting, saying they're learning stuff that's new. I feel like there's a lot of the decision-making process that I don't necessarily always get to show and explain in my other kind of previous series and videos I've done. Whereas, you know, here at Lyon, we're really getting an opportunity to do that, and it is making it really enjoyable for me. It makes me get into it a lot more when, I don't know, every game matters a little bit more, and it feels like each decision I'm going to be criticised for. It makes me think twice about things and play a bit smarter, I feel like. But anyway, that is all from me today. Hopefully you've enjoyed. I've rambled for long enough. See you guys tomorrow. It is me, Jack, and I will talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.